How is it going, everyone? It is ZLR, and today we're going to be doing our Week 4 recap of the UFL season. And honestly, this week was a weird one because it ended on a Saturday. Yeah, I'm recording this on Sunday, so we're going to have a couple days until you see the predictions for Week 5. But, we had a pretty decent week. We saw teams finally get their first win. We saw one team that was undefeated lose their undefeated status, and one stays undefeated for right now. And we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, like I said, this one was a pretty decent week. I can tell you, my predictions were definitely not the greatest. I'll tell you about that in my predictions video when you guys see that. But anyway, let's get right into this. Kings and Gamblers, with the Kings winning this one 24-22 in overtime. They got their overtime win back after what happened last week with that weird overtime shit that happened with the two defensive penalties, and they lost the game off of that. They the UFL changed the rule for that actually right before the game, and then we saw the game go into overtime and the Kings won. So I think that was the UFL telling them, "Hey, we're sorry about that overtime bullshit last week. So here's a win for you guys." But a pretty good game overall from both teams. Um I definitely was expecting the Gamblers to win this one, but I mean, they kept it pretty damn close the whole time, so I can't really be mad at that at all. And for the Kings, man, they really needed this win. This win is actually the first one that they have had for this season, and I'm actually kind of happy for them for that one. Um, like I said, they definitely needed it. They lost twice to the Storm already, and then lost to the Stallions in Week 1, and they were not looking the best, but now they actually have a win in their belt, I guess you could say, under their belt. And now we're gonna have to see how they can keep that up in the next few weeks. And for the Gamblers, I do know that they only have one win for the season so far, and we're just gonna have to see how they do for the rest of the season. I don't really know how I feel about both teams going into the rest of the season, but for right now, I'm just going to be a little bit hopeful, and I see a little bit of improvement in the next few weeks. Renegades and Aviators. The Aviators getting their first win of the season, while the Renegades losing their first game of the season. Oh man, the Renegades are no longer undefeated, and I'm actually kind of upset about that one. I really thought that they were going to win this game, but the Aviators, they were something else this game. I definitely wasn't expecting them to do much, but they definitely proved me wrong. I think I even said that in my short about the game, and yeah, I'm not gonna doubt the teams that go 0-3 anymore. that that was just kind of bad for me all around because I've been doing pretty good on the first game prediction getting right, and nope. Even the second game, I was getting it right the last couple weeks, but now nope. But anyway, the Renegades, they still played pretty decent. They just weren't as consistent as they have been the last few weeks. And for the Aviators, I mean, they did what they had to do. They got the win, and they actually got by 2 touchdowns. So that's just a pretty good way to win it. And it's actually a statement win too, if you really think about it, because won by 14 points. They were they were they were losing games, but they were losing decently close games, except for week 2 when they lost to the Defenders 44-26. But I do have a little bit of hope for the Aviators at least. So I do want to see how they can do for the rest of the season. And for the Renegades, I do feel like they're gonna just they're just gonna get their get back win later on in the season. Never mind, they already got their get back because they already played in week 3 when the Renegades won 28-23. So the Aviators, they said give us your soul, and they beat them by 14 points this week. Defenders and Battlehawks. This game was a pretty nice one. Defenders win this one 28-22, and also they got their get back win against the Battlehawks because if you guys remember, the Battlehawks actually won against the Defenders in week 1, and now the Defenders can get their get back win. But I do know that these teams are gonna probably meet in the playoffs, and yeah, that'll probably be a fun one. That'll be a fun one if that happens. And if it does, man, that's gonna be a hard pick for me because I do not know. Both teams split in the series 1-1, and I know both teams are actually pretty damn good. We saw that the last few weeks with the Defenders winning and the Battlehawks getting a couple wins there. One of them being against the Stallions, which I do not know what's really going on with them right now. They're having a very, very hard time really figuring things out. And we'll talk about their game soon. But yeah, the Defenders, they actually played really, really good here. And the Battlehawks, they kept it kind of close. The the Renegade, I mean no, not the Renegades, the Defenders, they ran away with it um kind of in the fourth quarter, and then the Battlehawks tried to get back, but they couldn't really get it done. And the Defenders won. And I'm actually kind of happy that they did because I know I saw a comment on my predictions video from a Defenders fan that said if they lost that, they were going to be super mad about it. So there you go. You got the win. Last but not least is the Storm and the Stallions, with the Storm winning 16-0 in a shutout game. And honestly, I thought this one was going to be a lot closer, but the Stallions, man, they are not looking good this season. They only had that week 1 win and then went 22-20 against the Gamblers. Then the next week, they lost 34-30 against the Battlehawks. And now they're losing 16-0 against the Storm. They really need to figure out what the hell is going on with their team. I know that they've been having a lot of offensive woes in the last few weeks, and I know before the game, I think I saw something about that they haven't had a score uh in like 51 something minutes from like the last 2 games, and that was before the game yesterday. And I just thought that was crazy, and then they didn't score anything at all last night. And I kind of feel bad for Stallions fans right now because you guys probably had the expectation that you guys were going to be just as good as you guys have been the last few years. And as of right now, it's just not looking like that. And for the Storm, they stay undefeated at 4-0, and they're actually also starting to become my favorite team. I actually did put that in my description on my YouTube page. Um, Used to be the Brahmas before the UFL decided to yoink. But yeah, this game was just a friggin' was just a slaughter for the Stallions. They just could not do anything. And for the Storm, they're looking really good. And I definitely have them winning the UFL championship. They're definitely one of those teams that I definitely feel like is going to be going there. But anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. Like, subscribe, comment, do really whatever you want to do. You can also donate to the channel. I'll have a link in the description below so you guys can uh, do that. But anyway, I'll see you all in my next video. See you around.